bomb threats in schools and local businesses. If anyone lives in New York, I'm not going to be specific, then you know all about that. Threats towards businesses in my town and horrific deaths to people who.
So, hey guys, welcome back. Episode 4.
Welcome to my basement.
Woo! We took a little tiny break, just a week to just relax. I broke my ankle.
Yeah, so we had this whole thing where Kenna had to have a pity Uber take her to the hospital, and turns out she broke her ankle for the 3rd time in a year.
Unfortunately, we took a week off, and I also went on vacation to go visit my mom this weekend. So we just decided to just relax for a week, but now we're back. And we're gonna do a drunk conspiracy theories episode.
So originally, we were just going to do a regular conspiracy theory video where me and Kenna explained our favorite conspiracy theories that we've heard over the years. I'm sure many of you have probably heard of maybe some of these, but a lot of people I've actually told have never heard of this before, so I thought some other people would be interested. I've just been so stressed and overworked, and there's just been a lot of tragedy happening in my community. So we're gonna have fun tonight, because that's what life is about.
Your life has been a whole true crime story. It's insane.
We've been having, just to not get into it, we've been having bomb threats in schools and local businesses all over my county. If anyone lives in New York, I'm not going to be specific, then you know all about that. And we've been having really specific threats towards businesses in my town and horrific deaths to people who I went to high school with.
Yeah.
So this is it's been a lot. So we're gonna have fun.
Anyways, I feel like you deserve a drink.
I deserve a drink. We have a mimosa on hand, on standby.
I have a White Claw and a Four Loko. Thanks to Hannah. She literally was like, let's do a drunk episode. I'm like, I don't have alcohol. And then she sent me money.
Blame it on the alcohol.
First off, disclaimer. We are already both pretty drunk. This episode is drunk conspiracy theories, as we just mentioned. So, I'm sorry if we're feral.
So, disclaimer, I'm gonna say, if you are not comfortable with listening to me swear, just click off right now, because I'm gonna be so unfiltered through this, it's not even gonna be funny.
We're not ladies anymore.
We're not ladies anymore, no. So please stop referring to us as that. Refer to me as Mom, and refer to her as Bella Thorne, as our name tags say.
Okay, so our first conspiracy is Titanic.
So we're gonna start with Titanic. Late evening on April 14th. Sorry, my nose is running. I am a fucking mess. Give me 2 seconds.
Oh my god, are you okay? She disappeared.
We're gonna cut this all out. I've also been crying, so. Late evening on April 14th, 1912, the RMS Titanic hit an iceberg and sank into the ice-cold water of the North Atlantic, killing 1,517 of the 2,223 passengers and crew aboard it. Theories swirl around suggesting millionaire banker and White Star Line owner J.P. Morgan orchestrated the disaster to off his rivals, millionaires Jacob Astor, Isidore Strauss, and Benjamin Guggenheim. I'm sorry. These names are really hard to pronounce sober. Are you wearing cubby right now on your shoulder like a parrot? I'm not wearing glasses right now, so. Oh.
I'm wearing cubby and I'm holding my elephant.
My 2 brain cells can't comprehend. Okay. Next. I'm the security guard. Next. Okay. Isidore Strauss and Benjamin Guggenheim, who did in fact perish on the Titanic in the wreckage. Why? J.P. Morgan himself was supposed to sail off on the Titanic, yet got off board shortly before the ship took off for her first and last trip. Or so we think. Alternatives to this theory claim the Rothschild banking family or the Jesuits, who wanted Astor, Strauss, and Guggenheim dead. Rothschild family is a famous family for being one of the most wealthiest families in the world, having possessed the largest private fortune in the world during the 19th century. Literally, go online and look up every single bank that this family owns. They own so many banks all over the world.
I wish I could.
At one time, I heard about a theory about this family where at one point, if you like rent or like own property through the bank for like your land, technically you own it through like this Rothschild family because they own that much property and banks. That literally, like, depending on which country you live in, some part of property that you own is owned by that family. Many wealthy people have had a conspiracy once said about them at one point, so this can be very well, like, a hoax. But just how would these wealthy people manage to sink an entire ship when it was somehow naturally wrecked by an iceberg that was in the ocean?
I don't know.
Well, perhaps. A theory all too possible is simply the Titanic never sank, but instead was another White Star Line ship, the RMS Olympic, the sister ship to Titanic. Okay? The sister ship was damaged while sailing to New York from England in September of 1911. Just the year before the RMS Titanic was set to sail. Okay. Harland and Wolff, a British shipbuilding company, fixed the hole in the side of the ship, and the Olympic finished its New York voyage. Okay. So these people who were supposed to go to New York, but eventually the ship like got wrecked somehow, they shipped them back to some like company in Ireland, got the hole fixed, and finished sending these people back to New York because they had to somehow be transported from England because they never actually made it to New York because the ship got wrecked somehow, and some hole was created on the side of the Olympic. So eventually they finished their voyage to New York and came back. 2 weeks prior to the Titanic setting sail in March of 1912, the Olympic was reported to having more repairs done by the Harland and Wolff. The theory alludes that the Olympic was deemed too damaged to profit off of. So they switched the 2 ships and ditched the damaged one for insurance claims. If they switched the 2 ships, they would have gotten money and killed off the people in the process. You know, Strauss, the Guggenheim, all of those wealthy people that were on the ship. So J.P. Morgan wasn't only the owner of the White Star Line ships, like the Olympic and the Titanic. Like, he owned them. So if he was trying to off these people, he had the means to by switching his own ships. Because he owned these 2 ships, and he realized that if one of them was damaged, he can easily just remarket it as the Titanic and sink it and get away with it for the insurance money. This is not looking good for J.P. Morgan, by the way, if this wasn't the case.
No.
If an iceberg really did hit the Titanic, it clearly looked like he had set it up to kill his, opponents. It's really high stakes when you have a lot of money. Although many dispute the insurance money would in fact not cover the loss of the Olympic. So why exactly would J.P. Morgan sink his own ship if he knew that the money from the insurance company wouldn't exactly cover the cost of the Olympic that was damaged?
Exactly.
To be fair, when I thought of this, I thought, well, if you sunk the Titanic and got money back from insurance that covered the damage for the Titanic, couldn't you just rebuild another ship exactly like the Titanic
Yeah,
and exactly
exactly.
make profit off of that ship?
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, after time, you would have made profit to cover how much you lost from the Olympic being damaged. Some photo evidence has supported the theory, though, showing a photo of the Titanic being built doesn't have the correct number, size, and spacing of the portholes seen photographed the day she set sail from England, with Rose and Jack fucking in the stagecoach. No, anyways. So April 10th, 1912, the photograph of the Titanic set sail doesn't match up with the photo of it being built. But not only does this perfectly match with the comparison of the portholes photographed on the Olympic, the sister ship of the Titanic. And the cherry top on the theory is that photographs of the wreckage, once technology was more advanced enough to discover the wreckage of the Titanic on the ocean floor, the photographs of the Titanic match up perfectly with the portholes of the sister ship of the Olympic. So not only does the photos of the portholes not matching up when it set sail, but after the wreckage, it also looks like the Olympic.
Oh my god. So
Compared to
people
the
think
portholes.
that the Olympic sunk and then it wasn't that Titanic.
Yes, because they
Oh
believe
my
that the photos
god.
don't match up from when it was being built to the day
Yeah,
that it was set
that
sail.
that makes so sense. Like I haven't seen the pictures, but that makes so much sense.
So it kind of alludes to the fact that they might have switched the ships and repainted over the Olympic so that it looked like it was the Titanic because they were so similar looking because they were from the same ship company. I fully want to believe in the switch. For why?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I'm not hoping that so many people died because of for some reason. It really makes you think, did they actually switch the two ships?
To add on to that, I have my own conspiracy about the Titanic. So let me
Yes. I
pull
have
it up
actually never heard of this one before, so I'm actually really excited to hear about it.
So I've been doing research on this conspiracy called the Titanic Fire. There is a documentary that came out in 2017 called The Titanic New Evidence. In this documentary, they claim that there was a fire on the Titanic that caused the ship to sink. Let me explain. They claim that there was a fire in the coil bunker in Boiler Room 6. In some pictures, they found where there is what they believe to be a burn mark right in front of where the fire was. I put a picture and circled where the not birthmark, what?
The
Where the
birthmark?
burn mark is. where the burn mark.
Tell me who your mama is.
Where the where
Who's your mama?
Stop. Okay, so I included a picture where the burn mark is, and Hannah will put that right wherever. So they were looking at these pictures in the documentary, believe that they found a burn mark like on the outside of the ship. I don't really believe that because it looks like it's just like the film. Like it looks like it's just like a burn of the film, but whatever. Mm-hmm. The fire was mentioned in the official inquiry in 1912, but was said to not be any cause of the sinking of the ship.
Yeah.
But people think fire was in fact a factor to the burning of the ship because they believe that the ship was weakened by the fire, and when it hit the iceberg, that's what caused the ship to sink. They believe that if there was no fire, the ship could have fought the iceberg and survived the hit. Now, the inquiry in 1912 says the fire was not that bad, but there was, in the documentary, there were interviews with survivors of the ship. Eyewitnesses and survivors on the ship say it took 11 men to fight the fire and try to put it out. And the fire was never put out. That it was running the entire time the Titanic was live and out in the ocean.
Wait.
That the fire was still running because 11 men could not put out the fire by themselves.
Wait, so eyewitnesses from the actual Titanic said that they saw men trying to put out the fire that was actually occurring on the Titanic.
Mm-hmm. Well, eyewitnesses and workers on the ship that actually survived said that it took at least 11 men to put out the fire, and that the fire was actually never put out, so that was rumored to be on fire before it even set sail. Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, 11 of the workers on the ship were trying to fight the fire, and they could never put it out. They could only, like, dim the fire.
See, I've always wondered this because, like, a lot of families from, like, the people who survived the Titanic can easily, like, debunk these stories. But, like, this is a story from, like, actual people who were on the Titanic. Like, who can actually say, hey, this is incorrect. You can't say that this is true.
Yeah.
These people were actually there on the Titanic.
Yeah, exactly. So I heard this conspiracy on TikTok at first, and I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. And I, like, looked more into it, and there's actually a whole documentary on it. And there's actually eyewitnesses of, like, old people that, like, survived the Titanic and actually said, yeah, like, we heard rumors about, like, these people trying to fight this fire, and it was never put out, and, like, the fire started before the Titanic even left.
Exactly.
So, conspiracy is that they believe that if there was never a fire, the Titanic would have survived the wreck and would have never sunk. Or would have at least sunk slower than it did.
Wow. So, Whitney Houston?
Whitney Houston! Okay. So, I'm gonna give a little disclaimer. Shit hit the fan, and I didn't do any research. Hannah did all the research for this conspiracy theory and literally just handed me the notes.
Apart from the Titanic sister ship conspiracy theory, I feel like the Whitney Houston bathtub conspiracy theory is one of my most favored conspiracy theory because I truly can't understand how certain things around her death just don't make sense.
Hannah gave me a list of conspiracy theories to choose from, and I chose this one because, one, it was the most easy to talk about, and two, because it was the most interesting to me, because I love Whitney Houston, and her death never made sense to me.
Exactly. Anyways, she was gone way too soon.
Okay, so anyways, Whitney Houston, she died.
We all know that.
This is her story. Okay, we all know that Whitney Houston was one of the most amazing voices to graze the earth in the 1980s, 1990s. In 2023, Rolling Stones placed her at number 2 on their list of the best singers of all time. Rightfully so, since she was one of the only artists to have 7 consecutive number 1 singles on the Billboard Top 100. That is a lot.
It's a lot, considering, like, oh my gosh. So, like, she was just, like, she was throwing them out there, and they were, like, top 10, top 100, top 100.
That was only in the span of 3 years, from 1985 to 1988. Yeah. Over her lengthy, successful career, she has accumulated 2 Emmy Awards, 6 Grammys, and 16 Billboard Music Awards, and 28 Guinness World Records.
28?
Guinness World Records.
Did she learn how to build a house in one day or something?
I don't know.
How does an artist, like, she's a singer and an actress, how does she...
We've been all freaking out about like Olivia Rodrigo's like 6 Grammy awards, whereas Whitney Houston won like 2 Emmy awards, 6 Grammys, and 16 Billboard Music Awards, and 28 Guinness World Records.
Okay, I understand like the Grammys and everything, but like 28 Guinness
20,
World Records?
28? What were they for?
What were they for?
It was reported by her mother that she had been previously on the phone with Whitney around 3:15 p.m., saying that her daughter sounded okay on the phone. Whitney's personal assistant stated that she also last saw. What was that noise?
My cat. I'm so sorry.
Oh my god, that scared the heck out of me. Anyways, it was reported by Whitney's personal assistant that she last saw Whitney alive at around 3 p.m. when leaving her briefly to run some errands. So Whitney's assistant left Whitney about right before she called her mother. And Whitney's assistant then came back shortly around 3:43 p.m. to find Whitney unconscious in her bathtub. Somehow, Whitney lost her life at the Beverly Hilton Hotel in California between 3:15 and 3:43.
Right. So like
the span of like 30 minutes.
So like she just got off the phone with her mother and like from what I've heard from research, she was reportedly having like a sore throat that day. And so like she figured she would draw like a warm bath to like try and get over that because she had a pre-Grammy award party that night. So she decided to draw a bath. And literally from the time that she got off the phone to drawing that bath to from the time that her assistant got home, she literally like drowned in her bathtub.
She wasn't like known to be on drugs, right?
No, so basically like at this time her whole entire family had no idea that she was reusing drugs. Like they thought that she was done and everything, but like at the time of her death, they had no idea that she was using drugs. And they had no idea that she started reusing drugs and that she was using them at the time of her death.
That's awful.
So, like, her mother had no idea what was going on when she was on the phone with her daughter.
And her mother said that she sounded perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what confuses me, that the assistant said that she was perfectly fine. Her mother said that she sounded perfectly fine. And then her assistant comes home to her dead, like 30 minutes later.
Honestly,
that makes no sense.
I feel like, honestly, because Whitney Houston was, like, she was notorious for her voice, but she was also known to have used drugs. Like any other kind of artist in this industry, I mean, it's not uncommon. The fact that her assistant didn't think that it was an issue to leave her alone in a hotel room when her entire hotel room looked like she was clearly on drugs. And her mother couldn't even tell. It was obvious that she was so used to using drugs that she was used to acting normal and functional on drugs.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like Whitney's assistant knew more than what she was saying she knew.
Right.
Because if you're with her 24/7 and then you leave and then you come back like 30, 40 minutes later to her unconscious, how did you not know?
I mean, to be fair, when I was doing research on Whitney Houston, it was reported that like cocaine like substances and powdery like substances were found on mirrors, and there were pipes like the pipes where you I don't really know. I'm so drunk right now. Holy shit. Holy fuck. Oh my gosh.
This is why it's called Drunk Conspiracies.
I'm so sorry. So basically, there's a lot of paraphernalia found in the bathroom, like medications and stuff like that. I don't want to take away from what Ken is saying, but basically, like, They knew she was taking cocaine. Cocaine was found in
Okay.
her hotel room. And so it was
Yeah.
clear that she had taken it. And like if her assistant was there talking to her saying that she was gonna go run an errand, her assistant would have clearly seen all of the paraphernalia laying all over the hotel room. It's not like she was hiding it.
That's what confuses me, because I didn't know that her assistant knew, because again, I got the information from you, so like I didn't really do my own research. Um, I'm just confused as to why her assistant left her alone knowing that she was doing drugs, because the entire time that I was on stuff at college, I always had friends looking out for me.
Right. And
I always
honestly, I
had
never
people
even thought of
reaching
that.
out to me.
Cause like she was clearly using drugs. Cause like all of the medications and just drugs that she was on during the time of death, she clearly has been using on a daily basis. Her personal assistant obviously would have caught on to that right away. And I don't see why she would have felt okay leaving her alone, especially when she knew she was going to take a bath.
I would have not left Whitney alone doing drugs. Like, no, you don't leave people alone when they're on drugs. That's not a thing that you do.
Go ahead, because it gets even more, like, mysterious and, like, confusing as you go on.
Hannah's been crying. We're good.
Let's just ignore Hannah. Let's just pay attention to how beautiful Kenna is this entire video. She's a queen. She really is. Kenna, who's on your shirt?
We took a short break.
Who's on your shirt, by the way?
Edward Cullen.
Okay, that's as much as anyone needs to know right now. Anyways. 93.5 Fahrenheit. For anyone with a brain, that's freaking hot for a freaking bathtub. Okay? For a human being, our normal body temp is 98.6 degree Fahrenheit. So this water was almost as warm as her body temp. Okay.
Yes.
A science teacher named Lucas Curtis helped a little bit online with this detail, since I don't know much about science. Okay. Because we are warm-blooded mammals, we produce heat to keep from overheating. We shed this heat at the same rate we produce it. This can be done by air or water surrounding our skin that is considerably cooler than we are. That way we transfer that heat to the air or water and are not overheating. In Houston's case, I can hear my cat peeing in the background right now. You go, Maisie. Okay. In Houston's case, 93.5 degrees Fahrenheit is very close to her natural body temp of 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit.
Why are you laughing?
I don't know anymore. Okay? The max temp of water to sit in can be 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, unless if you are under running water to rinse off, 120 degrees Fahrenheit is the highest that the body can tolerate. So, after 6 hours, why is her bathtub water 93.5 degrees Fahrenheit? That is extremely high.
That is so high.
Normally, if someone sets like a bath for themselves, normally the temp at the beginning is 93.5 degrees.
Yeah.
That amount of hot water you can sit in. But after 6 hours, that water probably was very hot. When she probably set it, she probably turned the faucet all the way to hot, and she didn't give herself any cold water.
No.
So I can't even possibly imagine how hot that water was when she first said it. Because when they first found her, they were concentrated on reviving her and everything like that. But afterwards, they had to do an investigation. So 6 hours later, they recorded her water temp. So we know that it was 93.5 6 hours later. I can't even imagine how freaking hot that was. I've never done cocaine, but if I was on cocaine and muscle relaxers and marijuana and yada yada yada, Xanax as well, those all were medications that she was taking at the time of her death, or at least that was found in her medication bag when she was in the hotel room.
Yep.
I still would be able to tell if a bathtub was that freaking hot that I couldn't get into it. Like, I don't understand how people can think that someone can be so out of it that they can get in a bathtub that hot.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I've never taken that many hard drugs before. And it has been recorded that on her autopsy report that there has been marks on her inner arm suggesting that she has taken needles for heroin before. So I have no idea what those kind of drugs can do on a person's, sensation of the body. But I know for a fact, just off of marijuana and maybe cocaine even, and drinking, she was also found to have had open champagne and beer cans open in her hotel room during the time of death. I don't understand how, if she would have gotten voluntarily into a bathtub because she had a sore throat, how she could have possibly been able to not notice how hot the water was. It was also recorded that she had lacerations to the face, meaning that she obviously could have fallen into the bathtub. And from the state of mind that she was in, she probably was out of it enough that she couldn't get out of the bathtub.
Yeah.
And she could have drowned because she was still alive when she was in the bathtub, face down. And somehow that's how she drowned. But I don't believe that she was just taking a casual bath and somehow got face first and started to drown. I feel like somehow she had no choice but to go into this bath that was really hot, that she set for herself unintentionally. And because of all of the medications that she was on and all of the drugs and substances that she was under, she perhaps couldn't get out of the bathtub herself.
Yep.
Which caused her assistant to find her in the bathtub. So,
yep.
That's a likely
Don't
cause.
mind me, I'm taking off my ankle boot.
Watch out! Cripple here.
If it will come off.
Bertha 2.0 lives forever on.
What?
Bertha 2.0 lives on.
Yeah, Bertha 2.0 lives on. And now, she's off. Piggybacking off of Whitney Houston, we're going to go into my last conspiracy theory, but Hannah still has like 3 more afterwards.
Yeah.
So, Mandela effects. One of my favorite topics in the whole world. Google describes Mandela effect as an observed phenomenon in which a large segment of the population misremembers a significant event or shares a memory of an event that never occurred. Many people believe that this is because we shifted realities or universes. So we're going to do a whole video on shifting realities. That's a whole different topic, but Mandela effects kind of has to do with shifting realities. Basically, people believe that some of us shifted into different dimensions or realities in which things are a little bit different. The reason it is called the Mandela effect is because Nelson Mandela actually died in 2013, but everyone remembers him dying in prison in the 80s.
Exactly.
So that was like the first big Mandela effect that people were freaked out about because everyone remembers him dying in 2013, but everyone remembered him dying in the 80s, but he actually died in 2013. And so they named this phenomenon the Mandela effect. And there's many more instances of things happening that we remember completely differently than they actually happen in real life. One of the most famous Mandela effects is the Berenstain Bears versus the Berenstain Bears. So I remember it being the Berenstain Bears, as in Berenstein.
Thank you.
But it's actually spelled Berestain. Bears.
Nope.
And that's not.
Nope.
That's not
nope.
me. I don't remember it being spelled like that in the slightest.
Okay,
and most
listen.
people don't.
We are Gen Zers. I will admit we may fall under the category of Gen Z, but I was raised by baby boomers, okay? I was raised on VHS tapes. My VHS tapes said Berenstein Bears. That's what they said. Nowhere, no way, shape, or form did it say Berenstain Bears, okay?
No.
Don't fucking confuse it. That's what I remember. Okay.
Now, also, another Mandela effect. Skechers. I'm gonna have you spell Skechers.
Okay. Oh, fuck. Sketchers? Skechers?
There's no T.
Fuck you.
SK. So everyone believes it as the way that you spelled it. Sketchers. But it's actually spelled Skechers. There's no T. I don't know, but everyone believes that there's a T in it, but there's actually no T. I lived off of Skechers. That's all that I wore as a child.
Yes.
And there was definitely a T in it.
Remember the ones
but
that
there
lit
is
up?
no T.
You just like lit up and just like, go Skechers! And just like,
yeah! I had those. Anyways, Curious George. Did Curious George have a tail?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Curious George did not have a tail.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
I love this show with my whole heart. I grew up watching it, and it was very controversial because my mom did not want me to watch it, but I was obsessed with this show as a child. Sex in the City.
What?
It's not Sex in the City. It's Sex and the City.
No.
Yeah. It's Sex and the City, not Sex in the City. It's always been Sex and the City, and everyone remembers it, including me, being Sex in the City.
Oh my gosh, really? I've always referred it to that.
Same. Everyone has referred it to Sex in the City, but it's Sex and the City.
I don't remember. Skechers? No. I don't remember this.
I have to find a picture for this one because I included pictures for all of them, but I have to find a picture for this one because this one freaked me out. The Monopoly guy, right? What does he look like?
He's got the monocle.
No, he never has the monocle.
I swear he has the monocle. I have a Monopoly. Okay, I have a Monopoly set in my living room. Okay, I swear he has the monocle.
Are you recording?
This is not fair. Okay, this is not fair. Literally, I've had this game since I was like 8 years old. I hate you.
He has no monocle.
I swear he has a monocle.
No, he doesn't. He never did. Everyone remembers him having a monocle, but he never had one. He never had a monocle,
He has no monocle.
Honey, what is that?
The trophy. I remember because no matter who won, I used to always put my name. Even if my brother won, I used to put my name. And then I would put it back into the case.
No, he never had a monocle.
Wait, what if the money has a monocle on it? Is there...
No.
Shit.
He never had a monocle.
Fuck.
Okay, also, on top of the Monopoly game, Jiffy. Peanut butter.
Jiffy. Jiffy.
It's Jif.
Okay.
Jiff.
It has
Yeah,
to have been.
but like, no.
It has to have been Jiffy at one point.
No. So what people think is there is this brand of peanut butter called Skippy. People think that we're confusing Skippy with Jif, and we're mixing them together into Jiffy.
By the way, if there was any kind of peanut butter brand that you identify as, it would definitely be the Peter Pan peanut butter.
Oh my god.
There should be a picture of you on the Peter Pan peanut butter.
My stepmom got a new can of the Peter Pan peanut butter, and it is so good. Anyways, yeah, Jif has never been Jiffy. It's always been Jif.
Wow. I hate that so much.
So yeah. Yeah, Mandela effects fuck me up so bad.
Honestly, when I first heard about the Mandela effects when I was younger, those really freaked me up. I honestly was
it
just
freaks
like,
me out so bad.
I don't know how to explain
another
it.
one. There's another one that messes me up so much. I have to find a clip of it to send to you. But the Disney logo, where it zooms into the castle in the middle of every Disney movie. In the old Disney movies, do you remember Tinkerbell going around the castle and doing like dotting the I?
Yes!
Of Disney.
Yes!
That never happened!
No, yes it did!
That never happened!
Literally, as you were explaining it, I literally, rewind.
No! There was this YouTube account that remembers it happening, but it never happened, and they searched and scoured the internet for that exact scene, that exact intro, and it never happened. It was Disney Fast Time, where it would go, this is Disney Fast Play, skip ahead of all the commercials. It was that, but everyone remembered it being the castle intro, where it would go like, dun 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 dun, Disney, and it was just like the castle, and like she would like dot the I, but that never happened. It was always an only Fast Time play, so if you didn't watch
Disney's Fast Play, your movie will begin automatically as you hit the... Oh my...
But if you didn't watch the DVD version, you would have never seen that. But everyone remembers watching actual Disney Channel and like actual like Disney movies and that happening, but that never happened. It was only in Disney Fast Play.
No, literally, as like growing up, I always watched my Disney movies off of a DVD player because we always went to buy in my town and we bought movies from that place. So every single Disney movie that I had, we always had it on DVD, and we would always play it on Blu-ray. And when Blu-ray came out, it always said that they had Blu-ray Fast Play, where you can skip all the BS in the beginning of the movie and just go straight to like the menu.
But what messes me up so much is that I used to watch my movies off of actual Disney Channel. And I remember watching Lilo and Stitch on Disney Channel and it doing like that whole like beginning thing with like the castle and like her going around the castle and like dotting the I. But that never happened. It was only a Disney Fast Play. But I don't remember that.
I always grew up on DVD. And our internet doesn't work. We have a whole entire like DVD case full of Disney movies that we don't touch unless we don't have internet.
I only had cable. I was too poor. Mandela effects creep me out so much. The one that creeps me out the most is Sex in the City, because I remember it's Sex in the City, and I'm always going to say Sex in the City.
Because where do you have sex? In the city.
In the city. Okay, so moving on, we're going to talk about Skinwalker Ranch.
Ranch? Ranch.
Ranch.
So if anyone doesn't know about the Skinwalker Ranch, go watch the documentary on Netflix called The Secrets, or The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch on Netflix. a massive ranch that sprawls over 500 acres of northern Utah in a region known as the Uinta Basin, lies the Skinwalker Ranch, a place so odd it has baffled scientific experts and terrified the most cynical wanderers. Journalist George Knapp attested it's been the site of simple, unbelievable paranormal activity, UFOs, Sasquatch, cattle mutilations, and psychic manifestations, you name it. Residents here have seen it. The land was originally inhabited by the Ute tribe, but Skinwalker comes from Navajo legend and translates to, by means of it, it goes on all fours. In 1994, the ranch was purchased by the Sherman family, but only managed to stay for 2 years before selling. Terry Sherman... The fuck are you doing?
I'm eating Oreos.
Does this look like a time to get concession stand snacks? Come on.
I'm hungry.
We're talking about UFOs here. Terry Sherman reported he became aware of a large wolf in his yard, one much larger than he had ever seen before. He claimed to have shot several times at the wolf, but it did not seem to take any damage from the shotgun whatsoever. So, this large wolf that's in this man's backyard, but like, it's his ranch. So, 500 yards worth of just ranch. He finds a wolf in his yard, and he starts shooting at it with a freaking shotgun. And it doesn't take any damage from it. It's still coming at him. Okay? The creature eventually did escape, with its tracks seemingly disappearing into the air. During their residency, the Shermans also encountered flashing lights, strange circles in the fields, mysterious voices floating overhead, and cattle mutilations. The current owner, Brandon Fugal, teamed up with the History Channel to produce a reality TV show. The crew uses scientific approaches to explain the unexplainable occurrences at the ranch. Since the 1950s, hundreds of UFO sightings have been reported in the I hate myself. The Uinta Basin, not just Skinwalker Ranch itself. Neighbors nearby have reported seeing various bright lights in the sky. Lights in the sky often occurring as shapes that look like some doorway or portal, and others saying flying giant objects. Not just these, but many reports such as cows found to be struck by lightning with no damage done to the ground. Another case like this occurred where a disemboweled cow was found, but was seen just an hour earlier alive, found with all of its blood drained from its body. How do you explain that? This is a 500-acre ranch. There's only so many number of cattle that they have on hand. So if they say that the ranch, I would say the ranch hand that's like taking care of all these cattle on the farm, if he says that he saw the cow just an hour earlier and then all of a sudden finds it an hour later disemboweled. And to be fair, I watched this Netflix series myself just about like 5 months ago. This cow was like on the outskirts of the field where it doesn't usually roam. The cattle don't usually roam in that area. They found it disemboweled, and quite literally there was no blood. And they had to get experts and stuff like that and have to do like an on-hand investigation during the scene of like filming. Like they did not want to film anymore. They wanted to go immediately into investigation.
Yeah.
What the frick happened? And they honestly were thinking that it had to do with UFOs, like aliens, like extraterrestrials were touching down and like killing their cows. Yeah, since the 1950s, hundreds of UFO sightings have been reported. So, who is to say that UFOs haven't been occurring and causing these mutilations and stuff?
Yeah.
One man named Frank B. Salisbury wrote the book The Utah UFO Display, where he conducted interviews with people whose property neighbored the Skinwalker Ranch. John Garcia saw an object as large as his own house. When I started writing this, I honestly stopped and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, as large as his own
John
house.
Garcia saw an object as large as his house shoot up into the sky above his fence and it disappeared. It just zoomed off. You have to be on some serious drugs to see something like that happen. They're in the desert. So like there's no forest, there's no trees, there's no telephone poles, there's no nothing. If you say that you have a fence, there's a fence and then there's nothing else. There's just expanse, you know? So he saw like some sort of foreign object hovering over his fence as large as his own house, and he said it shot up into his sky and just zoomed off and disappeared. The fact that like you live right next to the Skinwalker Ranch, it has to be some sort of coincidence. I don't think it has anything to do with hallucination. Skinwalker, meaning by means of it it goes on all fours, comes from the belief of Southwest Native American tribes, which a skinwalker is a malevolent magic user capable of turning into animals. Frank Salisbury, partner of Joseph Hicks, collected many accounts from people claiming to have seen a large wolf, sometimes walking upright on their property. Have you ever seen a wolf just walking upright in your back freaking yard?
I mean, I live in the city, so no. But like standing on all fours.
It's not
like all
natural
fours,
for
but,
a
like,
wolf to just stand and walk.
stand
Brandon
like a human.
Fugel, who is the owner of the Skinwalker Ranch to this day, who does research, says he believes investigations going on today are key to unlocking these mysteries. So, what exactly is it? Extraterrestrials? Or skinwalkers? Or is it both? UFO sightings even. They had to like literally stop filming during their documentary because they saw some sort of UFO sighting.
Okay, so basically, yes.
So basically what?
So basically this episode was us drinking and talking about conspiracy theories. We both drank entirely too much. Hannah, there's nothing left in it. It's empty.
Clearly. Disclaimer, if you really watch this video, please let us know. Are you more interested in watching a true crime video, or do you want to watch a Gilmore Girls just BS video where we are just absolutely demolished? Just ranting about Gilmore Girls.
I feel like we should have a break where we just do an episode on Gilmore Girls. But I'm also going to post a poll on Snapchat and a poll on Instagram to see what you guys want more, true crime or Gilmore Girls. And whichever one you guys vote for the most, we're going to do first. And then we're going to do the next video afterwards. So yes, either way, we're still going to do... Either way, we're still going to do the Gilmore Girls episode, but we're going to do whichever one you want first.
Oh, yeah.
I just feel like we've been doing way too many serious topic videos in a row.
Oh, yeah. I mean, sure, yeah, sure. Sure, yeah, sure. Sure, yeah,
but
sure.
Whatever.
Sure, yeah, sure.
Sure, yeah, sure. Sure, yeah, sure.
Okay. Sure.
Anyways.
Yeah, sure.
Anyways. We thank you for watching. This video is gonna be very chaotic. Hannah, I apologize in advance for you editing.
It's Hannah's fault. So, Hannah, I'm sorry for future Hannah for editing. Please let us know if you want to do true crime or if you want to do a Gilmore Girls BS rant.
Take your time while you're mine and smoke slow.
I can't imagine Joshua Bassett smoking slow of anything.
I'm gonna plug my YouTube channel right now. I just filmed an entire video earlier today of me crying about Joshua Bassett. And so my entire brain has just been like in the back of my mind has just been Joshua Bassett songs.
Joshua. The only song I know of Joshua Bassett is Lie, Lie, Lie.
Oh my god.
I am so obsessed with that frickin' scandal between the three of them.
You don't know Crisis or like Secret?
Of course I know Crisis, but I'm just like, I'm so obsessed with the... I could do an entire video
rant.
just on Olivia, Sabrina, and Joshua.
We should.
Can we cut so we can do an entire video on that? Of just me drunk.
We really should.
Okay, cut. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. We will do a no matter what you subscribe to, we will do a true crime, and we will do a, what was the other one?
What she meant is no matter what you suggest, no matter what you suggest
in the comments, we will make a video about it. How about that?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Have a good night. Please don't drown in your bathtub. Goodbye.